The Silver Torch 66 Pouring Bench, Heating Torches. For those who are considering to start pouring your own silver, this video will discuss the reasonings why I chose the specific tools, equipment, and products that I use on the Silver Torch 66 Pouring Bench. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around and check it out. If you enjoy this content, be sure to hit that like button. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, then you can subscribe. But be sure to select the notification bell so you'll be notified as soon as I post up new content. In this video, I will discuss the results of my research into heating torches and why I chose the torch I use at my silver pouring bench. With a good heating torch system, you don't even need a melting furnace at all. You can do just about any silversmithing you want with a torch, but there are advantages and disadvantages to consider when making your decisions on which one. Let's discuss some of your heating torch options. The first consideration is that no matter what you use, it needs to be able to sustain temperatures adequate enough to reach the melting point of the metal you're using. I will only refer to silver in my videos right now because that's the only metal that I'm currently working with. If you're working with gold, copper, or any other metals, you'll need to seek out specifics for those types of metals. The melting point for 3/9 fine silver is 1761 degrees Fahrenheit or 961 degrees Celsius. So your heating torch system must be able to achieve and sustain above these temperatures in order to work effectively with this metal. It is generally recommended that you should cast at 100 degrees Fahrenheit above the flow point of the metal to allow it to be thoroughly molten. Caution should always be taken to avoid overheating. The mold should be 800 degrees Fahrenheit to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit below the melting point of the metal at the time of casting. Once the crucible is removed from the furnace, it will immediately begin to cool, and if allowed to cool below its melting point, you won't get a successful pour. Melt the metal thoroughly and cast immediately. Remember, smooth is fast and fast is smooth. The heating torch has two components that affect its performance: the torch nozzle itself and the type of fuel used with it. Some torches are able to utilize more than one type of fuel, but always read the manufacturer's instructions prior to use. Torches are made for specific tasks, so making sure you have the right torch for the right task is vitally important. Here we're looking for a torch to heat up silver at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit above its melting point. Acetylene, which can reach a temperature of 3100 degrees Celsius. MAP gas, which can reach a temperature of 2900 degrees Celsius. Propane can reach a temperature of 2800 degrees Celsius. Natural gas can reach a temperature of 2750 degrees Celsius. Hydrogen can reach a temperature of 2650 degrees Celsius, and butane, which can reach a temperature of 1760 degrees Celsius. Unless you're a welder by trade and already have these heating torch systems available to you, many of these options would not be practical for a pouring bench. The more common fuel options would be the readily available and affordable propane and MAP gas types. Then the design or quality of the torch itself can greatly affect the temperatures achieved. There are infinite options available, so I'll just cut to the chase and tell you which one I chose and why. I use MAP gas because it burns hotter than propane, which results in higher temperatures achieved in less time. And I use the Benzomatic Ts 8000 torch. Why this particular torch? First, Benzomatic is a well-respected brand used by many professionals. The TS 8000 model heats up about twice as fast as the previous model, the TS 4000, and costs only a few dollars more. It was the clear winner for me. Let's take a closer look at this particular torch. It has several features that I feel make it stand out as the clear choice over other options. It can be used with either propane or MAP gas, and I really like that kind of flexibility. The main body is constructed of a cast aluminum, providing greater durability and resistance to heat damage. It has a trigger start, which is very handy when working at the bench, as it allows you to operate the torch with one hand free. The trigger start also gives you an instant flame when every second of a cooling crucible counts. There is an on-off safety lock dial to prevent accidental ignition. It has a control valve to control the fuel within the torch itself. There is an always-on button to allow the torch to function hands-free. There's an inset in the tip that creates a swirl effect, allowing a more concentrated and focused flame. With MAP gas, it will burn 12,900 BTUs per hour at a max temperature of 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. With propane gas, it will burn 14,200 BTUs per hour at a max temperature of 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit. It can be attached directly to a tank, or you can opt to use an extension hose to give yourself more flexibility at the bench. I like the ability to keep my fuel tank as far away from my furnace and pouring as possible. Uses for my heating torch at the pouring bench. For me, it serves many uses. I use it to condition my ceramic crucibles before use to prevent the metal from sticking to the bowl. I use it when I need to melt a small amount of silver in one of my ceramic crucibles to remove impurities. I use it to preheat my graphite molds just prior to pouring. The mold should be 800 to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit below the melting point of the metal at the time of casting. With a properly warmed mold, your silver will flow out evenly throughout the mold and reduce indentations on the bottom of your piece. The even flow allows for more control, resulting in what I consider to be a clean, neat pour. This type of pour facilitates a better stamping canvas for my designs. I use the torch to preheat my tongs before I use them on a hot crucible. I also sometimes use it to warm up a piece prior to toning it. I also use the torch to provide a continuous source of heat on the spout of the crucible as I pour into the mold. This technique can reduce metal solidification, which can prevent a smooth transition of molten metal from the crucible to the mold. I personally like to use a 2-torch system. Normally, I use one in a fixed position for warming molds, and the second torch I keep close at hand to apply a flame to the spout of the crucible. I also discovered that when melting a large amount of silver in a porcelain crucible, a 2-flame system even speeds up the process more. I also believe in redundancy. Perhaps my career in the military instilled that in me. Nevertheless, I always like to have a backup, so I know the mission will go off without a hitch. Was this information useful to you? Do you use a different torch with success? Let me know in the comment section below. A big thank you to all who support this channel, especially to those who take the time to watch the entire video, like, comment, and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe, then select the notification bell to ensure you're notified as soon as I post up new content. Stop by the ST66 Discord. It's active 24/7 and it's totally free. You can chat it up with other stackers about precious metal stacking and economic topics. If you like silver giveaways, trivia, and bullion auctions, then check out the ST66 live chat auction on Sundays at noon Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.